right, welcome back.
Yeah. Sometimes the forces have their own plan, right?
Oh yeah, the universe always, especially when we get together for some reason, the internet tends to not like us sometimes.
I think they like us too much.
Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, we'll go the other direction with that. We have Catherine on the line from Omaha, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to wait for Catherine to come on.
Yep.
In the meantime, Danger, we got to chat for a moment, and okay. Catherine, you're on the line.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. I'm glad we're able to connect this evening. What is your question?
My question is about twin flames.
Awesome. Twin flames. That's a pretty good topic. Is there anything in particular you have a question about twin flames, or just in general?
Mostly, I don't. It's just like, I think my twin and me are like, he runs away from me, and he's in a karma relationship, and I have to be nice to the karma partner of his, but it's really hard on me.
Yeah, that's actually very common from what I've read about twin flames. It all depends on what kind of twin flame we're talking about too, because there are a couple different varieties. There are twin flames that we have lived past lives with, that we have lived many lives with, and we're really, really connected spiritually to them. So when we incarnate this time around and we're not in a relationship with them, it feels very weird and very it's almost hurtful that we didn't end up in a relationship with this person. And that's one kind of twin flame. Another kind of twin flame is one that you're meant to be with, and you're just not quite there yet in your individual paths. So that could be coming up the road. Which one are you feeling about this?
I'm feeling the second one is mostly because it's like, it's everything that I have learned from my past has, I can understand unforgiven love. I can
Right.
He can do something stupid, immature, and I'm still there to help him out.
Right. That's because of the difference in vibrational levels. You being just slightly higher on the of a vibration than him, so it sounds to me like you're being patient. I almost want to, if I'm getting any information around this, which I think I am, I almost want to say that it's not even close to being time. We're talking about at least 2 years before this even starts coming to fruition. So I don't want to burst any bubbles, but I don't think I don't think the timing's correct on this.
That's what he has told me. I mean,
yeah. And that's one of the really, really tough things with the twin flames and things like that is the timing is they get put back into our lives early on, so we realize that they exist, but the timing is very rarely even close when we come in contact for the first time. It's just kind of to plant that seed so we know that they're there. I honestly, if I were you, I'm not going to say step away, but it's not, the timing's not right now. So I would back off a little bit.
And that's what I've been doing, and I have been backing off and stuff.
Okay.
But
right,
because
if you don't, not to cut you off, but if you don't back off, you're going to end up hurting yourself more than anything in this. So just take the long road, and you're going to have to take your time on this one, because like I said, there's a couple of years before this really aligns.
What I thought, and that's what he has told me too. Because we have talked about it before, and a couple months ago.
Yeah. That doesn't mean that you can't live your life. Your life doesn't have to stop. You can go out and have a good time, and you can meet other people, and you can have plenty of other relationships, or one awesome relationship. And a lot of people they get all distraught when the timing's not aligned. But that's just how it was meant to be. There's a lot of learning that he has to go through, and there's a little bit of learning that you have to go through before this connection can happen. So go out there and live life. Don't let this be like a hurdle. Don't let this be like a big negative thing, because it's really not. It's really an awesome thing that you realize that this connection is going to exist. So go out there and have a good time, okay?
Okay, that's what I've been doing and stuff like that. And I've been being patient with him, and I've been patient with the karma partner and stuff.
Okay.
And he even told her that I'm going to be in his life no matter what, no matter what she thinks or anything else.
Right. Right. That's awesome. So, just so it sounds like you already kind of know what I've just reiterated for you, which is really cool.
Thank you.
All right. Well, you have a great night, and have a good time down there in Texas where it's nice and warm.
Love and light to you.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night. Interesting.
How's your new space doing, Danger?
I love my new space. I love it. Really, really, really awesome energy in there. I mean, of course, I spent a lot of time in meditation and setting up the energy in the new office, but people got to come down and check it out. Head over to my website, readingsbyd.com. At the top of the page there, you can sign up for my newsletter, and that's going to keep you informed of what I got going on. You can also book appointments right there through my website for private readings, Reiki, psychic parties, and Brandy and I are also doing some events together, so you can check that out. Also, my Facebook page is also Readings by D. You want to head over there, click like, and our combined Facebook page, Brandy, at the Psychic and the Medium. So head over there and like that too. How about you, Brandy?
I can be reached at brandywells.com, BRANDIE, wells.com, and I do one-on-one sessions in Concord and Keene, New Hampshire, but I also love phone, Skype, Zoom, Messenger. I just love connecting in my work. About 50% of my work is actually done remotely, so do not feel limited by not being able to come all the way to New Hampshire. No matter where you are in the world, you can connect.
But you should.
And that's brandywells.com, BRANDIE, wells.com.
Nice.
Yeah.
Perfect. So, yeah, I guess that's it for tonight. Kind of an odd show. We lost connection for a little bit, so I think I lost a little momentum in the conversation.
Yeah, it's all good. I'm glad we were able to reconnect, and we do wish love and light to all of you as you move forward on your journey, and we will see you here next week on Soul Central with Brandy and
Danger. Everybody have a great night.
Great night.
A1R Psychic, Metaphysical and Wellness Radio. A breath of fresh air. This is A1R, a product of Positive Peak.
You're listening to A1R Psychic Radio, Earth's #1 psychic radio network, and watching Moonstruck TV, enlightening television. Welcome. Time for Amanda Hall Psychic with Amanda Hall. Live from AmandaHallPsychic.com.au. Connect direct. In North America, dial 888-454-2751. In London, 20-3519-2158. In Sydney, dial 02-8488-3147. Or online, contact us through our Facebook page, facebook.com/Psychic Radio. Or one of our websites, AskOneRadio.com or Moonstruck.tv. This is Amanda Hall Psych on A1R, the Ask One Radio Network.
Welcome to A1R Psychic Radio. You're here on Moonstruck TV with Amanda Hall Psychic all the way from the Gold Coast. For those of you that are in the Northern Hemisphere and enjoying summer, I'm really, really envious. We're in the middle of a really cold snap here, and I don't like the cold. I'm really sort of quite bad-tempered when it gets cold, particularly when the morning's down close to freezing. It's been the last couple of mornings. But anyway, enough of my grumbling for the day. We've had a very, very interesting week. I mean, we've still got people battling fires, and we've still got, you know, people struggling with the bridge disaster in Greece, and I'm sure there's too many things for us to mention around the world. But one of the major things that's happened in the last week, that we did lose our most amazing lady. We lost Aretha Franklin, and, you know, the Queen of Soul, the Queen of everything. We do nothing but give her respect and maybe say a little prayer. And, you know, it was a tragedy. We all knew it was coming, but it really did tug at my heartstrings, and I've watched lots and lots of stuff on cable about her amazing life, and I just cannot say enough about that amazing woman. Anyway, to kick the show off as we always do, we have the Simply Tarot card of the week. This week we've got the Fool. Now, the Fool is good friends and happiness, needing to take a giant leap forward. Sometimes when you look at this card, you can see the man standing on the edge of the cliff. He's got his dog and he's got his swag, and he's sort of on the edge of a precipice or a cliff, and he's just sort of standing there, and you think, well, why would somebody be standing there with all their worldly possessions and their best friend and sort of just admiring the scenery? Well, it is that time of contemplation, look before you leap sort of thing. Look at the things that you've got in your life, that you're in a really comfortable spot, and what you can achieve now is to take those giant leaps of faith, move forward, do something different, break yourself out of your comfort zones, make it a time that is really going to work for you. I don't know about you guys personally, but I've certainly had an extremely busy week, and it's been a week of a number of endings and changes and transformations. And it's almost like the full moon, which is coming this Sunday, the 26th, in Pisces. It already hit like about 7 or 10 days early. So for here in Australia, and I just want to have a quick little self-indulgent moment, Psychic TV, that I was a major part of for many, many years, closed its doors this week in its 8th year. That was an amazing television show that gave a lot of psychics in Australia the opportunity to come and discuss what they do and how they perform and work with the viewers. And it was in the middle of the night, so it took a lot of effort from everybody that was part of the show. Can I just say a big shout out, a thank you to all the psychics that I worked with on the show over the years, and most importantly, all our viewers. So you can all now come across to A1R Psychic Radio and see what we do over here on Moonstruck TV 3 nights a week. So I'm sure we're going to be sort of opening up new doors and moving into new things. Now, that leads me into this week. We've got the full moon in Pisces. Now, the full moon in Pisces is going to be Sunday the 26th. Now, it's technically known as the cycle where we look at Pisces being the 12th sign, being the end of the zodiac run, of being sort of like the dustbin, or where we collect everything together before we release and let go of it. Now, I think it's really, really interesting that Pisces is starting to have a major effect on lots of things around the world at the moment. People are certainly sort of looking at what they need to change in their life, what they're ready to release. And I think it's going to be a major purge of things that maybe we were hanging on to too tightly over this last 12 months or even beyond, that you're now ready to let go of. Now, isn't this an amazing time where we feel comfortable enough in ourselves that we've taken everything out of the situation that we need, and we can happily just sort of set it free? I think it's a very powerful full moon this time, probably a little bit more powerful than some of the other ones we've seen earlier this year, where we've had blood moons and we've had lunar eclipses and we've had this and that and the other. I personally think this one is going to be a full moon to remember. So can I encourage you really well and truly to really start getting your list together for your full moon releasing ceremony that you're going to have on the weekend. Whether you have one of my full moon candles or whether you work with one of your own, it really doesn't matter. The important thing is to get your list happening. The things that you want to release on this full moon, things that are final. things that you can say, I no longer need to have this in my life. I'm ready to set it free with no emotion, no malice, no hatred, no excitement, no anything. It's completed. It's time for it to be free. So what you would do is you'd get your full moon candle, you would write your list, you'd pop your list underneath your candle, always popping your candle on a coaster, never putting it directly on the furniture, because as I've spoken about many times before on the show, the glass containers themselves actually get hot. The soy wax itself doesn't, but the glass container can get hot and sometimes they can crack. So if you put it on a coaster, you've got less chance of that happening, but you've also got less chance of scorching your furniture too, which a lot of us still have beautiful timber furniture, and it's important we don't want to damage it. So with these extra large candles, what I like to do is burn one wick one side, like the other wick the second day. That way you get a longer burn time. And I also feel that you have less chance of the candle itself sort of with the changes in temperature cracking. So if you burn both wicks, you'll get approximately 60-hour burn time. If you burn alternate wicks, you'll get up to 100 hours. So we need to write a couple of lists because we need to be working with the full moon candle. Then for those of you that have the water sign candle, you would be lighting the water sign candle too, also because it's Pisces. So we have the second list. Same situation applies, 2 wicks, where you sort of burn them on alternate situations, and they just have such a lovely fragrance. And I know the full moon one has got cinnamon in it, and Montego Bay is the water sign one, but I know there's a few more ingredients that go into the full moon one that have slipped my memory today. Okay, so for those of you that might want a smaller kit, this is the travel kit. I've made this one up today of 2 water signs and a full moon in the middle. It's your choice at the checkout what type of candles you'd like to put in your travel kit. These will burn for approximately 15 hours. They have a nice little glass lid. They're easy for travel, compact enough to take to the office. And again, same rules apply. Pop them on a coaster, write your list. Read your list out aloud as you're going to light your candle so that you really intensify the energy that you're working with. If you don't have one of my candles, you need to sit there and massage your candle or stroke your candle and infuse it with the energy of what you want it to work for you. So for those of you that don't wish to work with a candle but still want to work with the energy, can I suggest a melt warmer? These are wax warmers. You can pick them up in the supermarket here in Australia around about $15, so they'd be probably around about the same price or a little bit cheaper overseas. Take a half a teaspoon of your candle and put it into the melt warmer. Again, same rules apply, placing it on a coaster, reading your list out aloud as you turn the wax warmer on. I use 2 in my house every day. I use one in my office with protection, but I always have a secondary one going in my dining room where I do a lot of my admin work. And at the moment, in the next couple of days, I will be working towards my full moon in Pisces, and I will be starting tomorrow because I like to work with 3 days on the approach of the full moon, before the full moon, 3 days of the full moon, and then 2 days past the full moon. So it's 2 or 3 days on the approach, 3 days of the full moon, and then 2 or 3 days on the descending side of the full moon. And that way I feel that you get the maximum energy and the maximum release that you want to be focusing on this time, because it's a little bit more powerful. I'm going to give it maybe 4 days. I'm going to start today because I really want to sort of release a number of things, a number of endings that have happened in my life recently, and I want to make sure that I release them on this full moon. So it's always a good time to do that. And you can put the both types of wax in your melt warmer. I will be using water sign for Pisces, and I'll be using the full moon. So let's get on to other things that are happening around the universe this week. It's a very, very, very busy week in the universe at the moment. And I know for a lot of you that follow politics wherever you are around the world, and I don't get much chance to catch up on everybody, but I will sort of highlight a couple of things that I've noticed in the last 24 hours. And it's because of these reasons. We have the planet Mars, which is said to be conjunct or holding hands. So Mars is the planet of action, holding hands or holding hands with the planet of transformation, which is Pluto. Now, Pluto is the planet of transformation. Pluto is the one that really sort of is slow, deliberate, and definite. So when you see Pluto in a chart, it's where we need to learn lessons that are actually slow growing, that are things that are going to take us a little bit of time. And it's something that we need to be aware of. So what we need to be aware of at the moment is that there's a real push to get everything sort of sorted out at the moment. And this is more on a global scale. This is more on a political or a government front. So what I have noticed by watching a little bit of CNN before I came on the show today was that you guys are having some really major dramas over there with your President Trump and people getting into trouble and people sort of saying, oh, gee, I put my hand up, I lied, I did this, that and the other. And it's going to be an ongoing issue for you guys that whether or not your president is going to be in serious trouble or is it just the people that he trusted around him. Here in Australia, we've had in the last 48 hours, we've got political unrest yet again. We're about to sort of try and, vote out the sitting Prime Minister. We tried that yesterday and that didn't work, but it hasn't satisfied the natives yet. They're still all jumping up and down and carrying on about it. So we'll be heading into political unrest here for some time while they sort of sort out their schoolroom tactics at who's doing what and who likes to play with who today. So, but we'll find other things like that will be happening around the world as well, because with Mars sort of getting everybody geared up, ready to sort of go to battle, go to war, and because it's holding hands with Pluto and saying, well, okay, yeah, we deserve this, we need change, we know more than everybody else. But you've also got to be aware of, we have Uranus, the planet of action or the awakener, is also sitting in an earth sign. It's sitting in Taurus. Now, it's going to be there for a while. And Uranus, in my opinion, is always the planet that comes along and it's like pulling the tablecloth off the table trick, and hoping you don't break the china. He comes along and does that really quick, decisive action and says, oh, well, I've done my bit, now I'll go and play. So I feel that he's the one that's sort of creating these opportunities or these openings. Then I think we're seeing not so much the secondary, but the more powerful part of it unfolding is with Mars holding hands with Pluto. So just be aware of that. I think it's going to be an interesting week around the globe as we see different things surface around politics and who said what and who's in whose camp. So we'll all watch that with bated breath. Now we're going to quickly move on to our mini astrology lesson of the week. This week our featured Scorpio male singer is Keith Urban. Now I must admit I struggled to find somebody that I knew that was a male Scorpio. I try and make it somebody that everybody might be able to relate to, and it wasn't the fact that I didn't like Keith Urban, it was just I wondered whether or not there was enough people knew who he was. He's a very famous country and western singer who was actually born in New Zealand but came to Australia to live when he was very, very young, so we claimed him here as an Aussie. And, of course, he's married to the amazing actress Nicole Kidman, who a lot of you would recognise out of movies. And, he's huge in the US, my producer said. Well, that's good. And so Keith Urban sort of he's been one of those amazing sort of people that's done so many things with his life. I mean, he's been a singer, he's been a songwriter, he's great in the recording. He's also got his own line of guitars and accessories now. And, I mean, just a good all-round, genuine, honest guy. And as well as being a country star, and he's been a judge on American Idol. And, yes, he is definitely married to Nicole Kidman. We really proudly fly that flag here in Australia. And it's just sort of nice to see somebody that's just a decent, down-to-earth family man who really does put his family first. And, there's been no scandals. He hasn't been involved in drugs or pornography or anything else. And it's really, really nice to just see somebody that's got some really decent values for a change. So I do take my hat off to Keith Urban. And, and I mean, he is an amazing singer. And I think he's probably motivated a lot of people to sort of just get up there and give it a go, because he didn't believe he had any talent to play guitar. It was just something that he was interested in. And look at where he's taken his career. He left Australia after about his fourth single here and headed to Nashville, sort of hoping to create the dream. And he was lucky enough to be a session guitarist for a while there before he sort of kicked off his amazing career. So it's nice when you see people that are really have followed their dream but still stayed true to themselves. And I think that's the amazing thing. And with someone being a male Scorpio, that would be very difficult because their emotions would run very deep, and it would be really difficult for them to sometimes be able to express that in a way that other people can understand. So he's certainly been able to do that, and we take a hat off to you, Keith Urban. So we're now going to take our first caller, and it's Roxanne in Mickey's Sport, Pennsylvania, USA. It's Mickey's Sport. I beg your pardon for my pronunciation. Roxanne. Okay, Mickey's Sport. Hello, Roxanne. How can we help you, sweetie?
Hello. Well, I have some complications with getting the right job I want, and wanted to know if you felt anything. My father had passed away a year ago, and there's some complications with that.
Okay, Roxanne. I always say to people, it's really hard to tune in to somebody on the other side when the limited space of time we've got. If your dad wants to come through, he will interrupt. Let's just work on the things that you've asked, which is about your job situation. Look, I don't think that you've necessarily done anything wrong, Roxanne, as far as not being able to land the job that you want. I just don't think the right job's been there for you as yet. And it's sort of like, I know this is frustrating. It's sort of like, you know, you apply for things and you think, I should have a good shot at that. And then for whatever reason, it doesn't pan out the way that you want it to. They're showing me September in a really big capital letters. So I'm going to take from that you should be able to make real progress with the job situation next month. And I feel you're going to land a job that's going to fit like a glove. I think it's going to be worth the wait. I think it'll be fairly close to home. The pay structure is good. Everything about the job and conditions is really good, and you're really happy with it. It's interesting because I know you said about your dad, and what I'm being shown is very clearly we have to let that go. Whatever the issues there were after his death with family members or whatever the situations were, he's showing me a very definite symbol of just let it go. It's not worth it. It's not worth the aggravation, the frustration, or the whatevers. So I'm taking from that everybody's got a different opinion on certain things that should have happened, and you seem to have been piggy in the middle with all this, and Dad's just sort of asking you to just let it go.
Okay.
Because I feel he feels it's blocking other areas of your life. You know, while you're giving this so much attention, trying to keep everybody happy, you're actually taking away from you, and he just wants you to focus on you, Roxanne. I mean, he can see it all clearly, so don't worry about that. He can see everything that's gone down, who said what and who's done what, and it's not your place to try and fix it.
Yeah, I know. I was just hoping the guy that did it would get in trouble for it, that's all.
Well, you're certainly not in trouble. He just wants you to let it go and get on with living. That's his message to you. He's also brought up with me, is there talk of maybe a change of residence in 2019 or changes to where you're living?
I don't know. I moved here in October, so of last year. Well, I've been here almost a year. This October will be a year.
Okay. But since you've moved there, have you really settled? I mean, have you bought somewhere? Have you settled down? Or
no, I didn't buy it. I'm renting.
Right, but he's showing me sort of like a move coming up with a real stabilisation feeling around it.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah, but it's not till next year. And I'm going to say I'd be really surprised if what he's showing me comes up before March. I don't think it's sort of like, it's not the new year kicks in and all of a sudden you're in this movement phase. It's sort of like, let's bed the year in, let's get your job, get you settled in the job, and then that'll be the next part of what's unfolding for you. But he's around you every single day, and he looks amazing now. He's not in any pain. He's not cranky with anybody. He's just, he's glowing. And that's what he wants me to leave that image with you, that he absolutely looks amazing.
Well, that's good. Yeah, you're right. We're fighting situations, and the guy that did it to my dad is what we were hoping to get him in trouble. That's why we were fighting still.
Yeah, but for you, I'm not saying give up the fight. I'm just saying he was asking you to personally walk away from it. Like, leave it to the others or something. You know, like, you've got too much to do. He wants you to focus on you. You've got to put your energy into getting your life right. Then we can come back and visit it. It was, the way he was sort of showing it to me was too much energy was going into this and not enough into your life.
Right. He's right. That's right. You're right.
Yeah, so rework it the other way and Dad'll be happy.
All right.
Okay. Lovely to speak with you, Roxanne, and good luck with your John parting, sweetie. We're going to go to Joanna in Clemson in South Carolina. Are you there, Joanna?
Yes, ma'am.
How can I help you tonight, sweetie?
Oh, well, I was just making myself available for a reading.
Right. So do you have a question I can work with, Joanna?
Question. Yeah, I'm having a lot of shifting now. A lot going on with that. I just wondered if you had any insight as to direction that I may be heading as far as work, especially.
Mm-hmm. All right. They have shown me that a number of doors have closed this year, particularly 3 areas of your life or 3 situations that we've finally slammed the door shut on, and that's good. That's positive. I do feel, though, Joanna, I feel tired around you. Have you sort of feel like your body is dragging itself recently, that like you're not, haven't got as much energy as you used to have?
I broke my ankle, and so I've been dragging my ankle around.
Right, okay, that's what it is, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, they're showing me there's going to be major improvement in that in the next month. You won't feel like you're dragging yourself around, so that's good. I do feel that there's a new job for you, but I wish I could say it was sooner rather than later, Joanna. I'm sort of feeling as if the job situation's not coming till sort of closer to Thanksgiving. It sort of seems to be late October, early November. It's around that time. It's certainly not next month. I'm not saying don't keep looking, but I just don't think the job of your dreams is coming just yet. Has there also been a change of residence around you in the last 12 months?
No, I'm not planning on going anywhere.
No, but have you made changes in the residence where you were living, or made a change from one to another? Yeah, but changes can be something as simple as moving the couch or putting up a new set of drapes, or, have you done something different?
We've been working on some changes around our home and property. But,
yeah, good. Okay. I can only go with the information that they're giving me, and they were giving me that there'd been some changes, or you'd moved in the last 12 months. Like you were changing the energy, you were changing everything, your environment around you, and that's a good sign. That means that you're right on target for where they want you to be, so that there will be, I think, the remainder of 2018, Joanna, is just about tidying up what you've already started. And in that, I would put the job change. I don't feel it's really the time to instigate new things other than the job until 2019. I think we just need to tidy up the loose ends and then be ready to sort of go forward again. 2019 is going to see you with a lot more enthusiasm and taking on some new projects next year. I actually feel you'll be out and about a lot more, and I think your new job will lead you into some further study, which will be work-related. It will be something that the company will pay for, so it's not something that you've got to worry about, how you're going to pay for it or anything like that. It'll all be part of the job description. And also, were you planning a major trip in the second half of 2019, are you?
Oh, probably. I mean, not major necessarily, but we certainly go out to Washington to visit family, Washington State, and that's a big trip every year.
I'm not saying you won't take. I'm not saying you won't take that one. I'm actually seeing another trip. I'm seeing something that's not in the usual calendar for the year. This is something sort of like, not necessarily overseas, but to me it was a major trip. It was like somewhere we've either never been before or somewhere we've talked about going for a long time, and we're going to make it happen. And I sort of felt it was going to be about August next year. It was sort of like, not just a week away somewhere, but a good 2 or 3 weeks, and we're really going to enjoy it. And it's a time for you to really sort of be at one with yourself and your husband, and just sort of like really just have some selfish time together without feeling obligated that, we take the trip to see family, but this is a trip for us. And I feel really excited about that. Yeah, and it's good because I think you're supposed to deserve this. You deserve this. Your husband and you both work very hard, and it'd be nice to see us have something for you for a change.
That would. Very much.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah, so keep an open mind to that. I think it's going to be more your husband's suggestion, and you're going to think, yes, that's what we'd like to do. That'd be really nice. How are we going to make this happen? But you will make it happen, and it's good. So has he also been sort of... Has he also been sort of a little bit concerned with his job recently too? Is he sort of getting a bit fed up with it?
No, I mean, it's pretty steady. He just kind of goes in and works, and we're thankful that he has a job, and he works on a production line. So,
yeah, I don't see him losing his job. I just sort of felt he was a bit disillusioned or a bit cranky with it recently. It was, we're sort of getting onto him a bit.
He's always been a bit cranky with it. He's never loved it. He's always thankful, but never loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just sort of felt the last month it had been just that little bit harder for him. But look, that's going to settle down soon. I think he'll sort of be in a better humour, which is good. He just gets cranky.
Yeah, he's been having to go in
at his nature.
5 in the morning and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think things are settling down there for him. Anyway, Joanna, it was lovely to talk with you. I hope you enjoy your surprise trip next year. You both really, really deserve it.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And you have a lovely evening. I appreciate your call.
Thank you very much. Lovely to speak with you, sweetie. Okay, we're coming to the end of the show again. I mean, the half an hour does go very, very quickly. And can I reiterate, please, be very aware of this full moon coming up on the 26th, Sunday the 26th, wherever you are on this amazing planet of ours. Make sure that you're ready to release everything from the past, that you're not going to let go of anything. It may not necessarily be an overly emotional moon where you're not going to be your emotions are going to be seesawing every which way. For some people, there may be some tears, which is part of the letting go process. But whatever you're doing, know that it's time for release. Now, next week's show, we'll have our Simply Tarot card of the week. We'll also have our little glimpse around the universe. We'll have a famous female singer next week in the sign of Scorpio. We'll have a little glimpse around the universe, see what's happening astrologically. And, of course, we'll have our candle of the week. But for those of you that might want a private reading, my website is www.amandahallpsychic.com.au. When you're at the checkout, please type in the word radio in capital letters and you will get a discount. And if you want to get a free astrology chart, please feel free to join our newsletter. We email them anywhere in the world. You're under no obligation to buy anything. We just love to share the love here at Amanda Hall Psychic. So until next week, I hope you have an absolutely amazing week. And don't forget, we all should say a little prayer for Aretha Franklin. Bye for now.
This is A1R, the Ask One Radio Network.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
A1R, Lifestyle, Healing and Wellness Radio. A breath of fresh air. This is A1R, a product of Positive Peak.
You're listening to A1R Psychic Radio, Earth's #1 psychic radio network, and watching Moonstruck TV, enlightening television. Welcome. And now, the Medium Garuda Show with Frederic Diel. Live from Facebook.com/Medium Garuda Psychic Media. Connect direct. In North America, dial 888-454-2751. In London, 20-3519-2158. In Sydney, dial 02-8488-3147. Or online, contact us through our Facebook page. Facebook.com/Psychic Radio. Or one of our websites. AskOneRadio.com or Moonstruck.tv. This is the Medium Garuda Show on A1R, the Ask One Radio Network.
Hi guys, welcome to the Medium Garuda Show on A1R Psychic Radio. It is 4:30 in the morning here. I couldn't get any sleep before this show this time. It is because of the subject of this week's introduction. Not that I'm nervous, but as we all know, spirits are around us at any time. But why do they most of the time come during the night? That has all to do with our spirituality and connection to the other side. When the time is there, we need to go to bed, we start our bedtime ritual. That prepares us to go to our sleeping mode. Lying in bed and trying to find a piece of sleep results in a change in our body. During the day, most people focus from their mind, which is necessary to deal with our daily stuff. If we relax or get some rest, the focus will move more from our heart. That's the place of our sensitivity. Everybody has a kind of sensitivity. The point is, how does every single person deal with this sensitivity and accept their spirituality? Most people will unknowingly keep down their sensitivity and live their life which has been outlined by the other side. Anyway, what I wanted to explain is that when we are asleep, our focus is from our heart. And that's the place where we are completely accessible for connection with spirits. That's the reason why spirits visit us at, let's say, special moments, like when we are deeply asleep. But if you have a strong spirituality, you also will receive the necessary insights and signals during the day. I'm sorry, I was lost track of my text. People who genuinely work with their spirituality have the ability to control the movements from head to heart, to be able to receive the spiritual information needed for the specific moments. So, if some loved one, human or animal, a pet, has passed away, we first have to deal with this situation in all aspects. We need to get used to the fact that this person or animal or pet is not physically around us anymore. That's the first practical handicap we have to accept. Also, many practical issues will be there we need to put energy in, like arranging a funeral, all belongings, paperwork, possible family issues. When everything is put behind us, we have to process the loss of our loved one. The fact this person or animal will never be physically in our life is hard to accept. But we are forced to move on this way. Many questions, unspoken words will come up in our mind, which can have a huge influence on our future life. And why do I talk about this? Well, every show I would like to give you some insights in specific subjects that might be helpful to you or your personal environment. This show, my meaning is to give you some support and insights how to deal with a loss, but especially how to move on. If a person or animal passes away, the soul will leave the body immediately and go straight back to the place where it belongs. The body we see with our eyes is just to give the soul a kind of package. The package also gives us the necessary insights and information about a specific soul. That means we always have a connection with each other, whatever happens. We only need to accept that the way we connect to our loved one has changed. On Earth, we can communicate with all possible expressions because the soul uses the verbal and non-verbal capacities of the specific soul and body which has been given to this energy. That's quite a comfort. We never lose connection. We only need to learn and get used to a new way of communication with our loved one who passed away. The type of communication the spirits use depends on the person they would like to have a connection with. Some people get visions with images and messages. Others need more recognizable hints they can remind them of a specific person, now a spirit. Spirits are always around us. They will never let you down, and the right spirits will guide you in your life or come back to Earth. Maybe as a grandchild of you. And I already already see we have a caller, so that's why I have to finish this introduction very rapidly, and I think I need my glasses to read. It's Heen from Mississippi, USA is ready. Good evening.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Okay, thank you. How can I help you?
Yes, I'm calling in. I was wanting to know. I'm a new caller, so I have some questions. I'm very confused about my past relationship, and I also wanted to know about what I should do for my future relationship because I'm very confused about what to do right now.
Yeah. So you are in a relationship right now?
No, I'm not in a relationship right now. I was in a relationship a couple of years ago, and we stopped talking ever since then. And I haven't been able to get into a new relationship since then.
Yeah. So what I can feel is I still feel some sadness. What you're carrying with you. Yeah, it's very difficult for you to find the connection with somebody. I can feel you are some bit of insecure. The person you had a connection with, it is in the past. That's what I can see. But what I can really feel is that this person is still too close to you. So that means your past is still following you in this present. So that means I can see you are still looking backwards. That means you are looking at your history, at your past. And if you focus on the future, then you will be able to find some focus points, for example, in your love life. I also can feel you, I get a feeling you are hungry, so that means that you are not really taking care of yourself in a very proper way. So I feel you need to take track of your food. Also drinking, because my kidneys are a little bit hurting me. So please focus also on yourself, because I think there's the main issue. You are focusing around because I'm looking at specific points, but it's all vaguely. I can see some specific things that I want to move on to. For example, your love life. Because your love life is for me a very important matter in your life. Because of the security you get from a specific person, and also because I can feel you are some kind of lonely. You are very spiritual, you are also very highly sensitive, but you feel to me quite alone on this planet. I can feel connection to social life you have, but it is very limited in my opinion. Let's say your love life, because I can't clearly see a person in your love life right now, and that's because of your focus. So your focus is backwards. That means you need to turn 180 degrees to move on to the future. Now you are walking backwards to the future, but you can't see where you're heading up. You can't see your path. So if you let down your history, because some things we have to keep in our heart. We can't get rid of some specific issues. We have to carry that with our heart, the rest of our life. Let's say, for example, when a glass is broken, we can fix it by using some glue, but we always feel the glue, because we feel the pain in our heart, of course, but it's the way we have to accept this pain and move on. So if I turn you 180 degrees, I'm now looking at the future of you. Then I can see, because of your spirituality and your sensitivity, you need to focus very straight, very deeply to some specific point, because you feel to me very, from your highly sensitivity, you have some autistic tendencies with you. It's because of your spirituality. So that means if you focus then you ignore the things which are outside of the focus, so you can concentrate on some specific subject you will be heading to. The love I see in your life, I can feel a male figure in your future. It has to take some time, I think, before this male figure will enter your life, because you have to start turning around, you have to move on, you have to focus on your love life, focus from your heart, because right now you are focusing from your mind. You are looking for a person from your mind, and then you can make some decision you will not be very proud of, because then you can have a relationship which I can see in your past, because you have some negativity in the relationship in your past.